Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the defining moments that shape extraordinary people into who they have become. Our today's guest is Fitz Koehler, a fitness expert, five-time author, American Noises, race announcer, a founder of the Morning Minds, host of the fitness show, and one of the most unapologetically energetic force in the wellness world. She went from being an overweight kid to any master degree in exercise and sports science, building a global brand. Then, while under while undergoing chemotherapy, 3 round of radiation and multiple surgery for breast cancer, showing up bad at race, finishing line, and keynote stage. Anyway, it's really a pleasure and honor to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on your show. So lovely to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sophie, take us back to the beginning. You are an overweight kid. What was that experience like? Not the clinical description of it, but what it actually felt like to live in your body, move through the world at that particular age.
Yeah, it was, it's interesting. I had an older sister who was just mean spirited. She liked to pick on me, as many older siblings do. And when I was a very thin, maybe 10-year-old girl, she started telling me I was fat, and I wasn't. But as puberty hit and I started gaining weight, I actually did kind of, pack it on. And she was constantly telling me how fat I was. And she would say, "You're fat and you suck at soccer. And you're so tall. Boys are never going to date you." And so I became very
Mm,
self-conscious. And really I was only mildly overweight and I wasn't very tall. I'm 5. So it was hard. It was hard. It was sad. And I spent a lot of time thinking about the parts of my body that I didn't like. I obsessed over them. I had an eating disorder. And, I feel sad for children who don't know how to be fit. The ones that want to be fit, the ones that want to achieve their ideal weight, but they don't have solutions. So that really has motivated me as a professional to help not only grown-ups, but children too. Make all of the books that I write so well, they're simple, but they're provide a ton of information. But my goal is always to make sure if you are 14 years old, you can understand what I'm saying. And if it
mm.
resonates with someone who's 14, then someone who's 30 or 50 can understand it as well.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So
Mm.
at some point, something shifted and it went from being the overweight kid to someone who would eventually earn a master degree in exercise and sports science from the University of Florida. What cracked that open? Was it a moment, a person, or something that built slowly?
Yeah, so interestingly, when I was 14, I was working at a cinnamon bun place, like fried dough with cream
Yeah.
cheese frosting on it. And that was my job. And then my manager became really mean. And I had already been exercising at a fitness studio called Spa Lady. It was an exercise gym for women. But I applied there. And I was 14 and I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew the exercises I was doing. I had been taking classes, but the manager asked me, he said, it was a Tuesday. He goes, "Well, can you teach a class on Friday night?" Now, I had no experience, no training, but thankfully I'm a gamer and I decided, yes, I can teach a class on Friday. I was cocky and he gave me a chance and I taught a class on the Friday and it went pretty well. And from there, I worked to get better and better and better. So my career actually started when I was 14. And of course, that helped me earn a fitter body myself. It wasn't until I really understood nutrition that I really took the weight off. But yeah, my career started very young and I'm so grateful it did.
Yeah, amazing. So you have described your approach as science with human heart and unapologetic business. Where did that particular combination of quality came from? And when did you realize that being fully yourself was actually your greatest professional asset?
Yeah. So I would say the good news is everything that I want is good for other people. Right. So I have data, I have evidence that exercise will make you better, that nutrition will make you better, that cutting back on alcohol will make you better. And so, yes, I have a big personality. Yes, I'm very aggressive and forceful about it. But the end result is when I get aggressive and noisy, teaching people how to be fitter or compelling them to do it, they get better. And so I've seen too many wonderful results from my efforts to hold back. And so I won't shut up because if you do what I say you should do, you will live better and longer. And so, yeah, it's better for everybody if I get what I want.
Yeah, amazing. So you built a career that took you to stage for Disney, Oakley, and American Cancer Society, and 100 more. What did those earlier years of building your brand and your reputation actually look like? And what was harder than you expected?
Yeah, so working with these big brands, these monster companies like Disney or Oakley, I would say it's flattering. I like the fact that they're willing to put their brands in my hands. They're willing to back my voice with their brand. And so the reality is I do have a high education, but there's so many people in the fitness industry that sell diets. They sell out. They lie to people in order to take their money. And so when the American Cancer Society or Tropicana or any of these big brands, and when they put me on their stages, they're saying, she is the girl. She's the one to trust. We trust her and you should trust her too. And so, I've made a lot of hard decisions in my career. I've turned down a lot of money from those snake oil salesmen, the pill pushers that have asked. They've offered me millions of dollars to lie to people and sell their pills, and I've never been willing to do it. So, when I get on these big stages for these big companies, I know I've earned that by being a trustworthy person, and I work hard to deliver a product, a message that's motivating and inspiring and, actually teaches people to change their lives.
Yeah, amazing. It's really amazing having to let go of some of those things. Yeah, to get the bigger brand. It's amazing. So you created the Morning Mind before school working and running programs, now active in over 400 schools worldwide. Where did that idea come from and what does it mean to you personally, knowing that it starts so many kids day differently than they are started?
Yeah, for sure. So mass impact is my mission as a fitness professional. There's many instructors who teach in a gym and they help 20 people at a time, and that's wonderful. And that's not satisfying to me. And so I want to get an enormous amount of people to do better and live better. And so with the Morning Mile program, I decided was if I could help children learn healthy habits before they became adults, hopefully they wouldn't gain the weight and
Yeah,
turn to diets and make all the mistakes. And Nigeria, for crying out loud, you guys have some of the best runners on planet Earth.
yeah,
Walking and running, those are skills humans, unless you have maybe a birth defect or an injury, those are skills most people know how to do. We don't have to teach them like soccer or football or volleyball. Those are skilled activities. Walking and running is something most of us know how to do, whether we do it slowly or quickly. I can get 400 children and their parents on one field out to do the morning mile, which is simply just doing laps for 30 minutes. So, yeah, so I created that program to try to see how many people I could get moving in the mornings. And when you exercise in the morning, not only does it takes away some of that youthful energy or calms them down, right? But it sparks creativity. It gets the kids to behave better, to think more clearly. They naturally look towards healthier foods. We don't do any preaching about nutrition. They just start saying, I want a banana instead of I want potato
yeah.
chips. And so that program has been everything I dreamed it would be and more.
Yeah, amazing. Then came our breast cancer diagnosis. You had built an entire life and identity around health, fitness, and physical strength. What did it feel like to receive that news, and what was yours very first thought?
Yeah, so my first thought was, I'm definitely dying. It was a very aggressive, moving type of cancer, and I just thought I was certainly dying, and I was afraid for my life, but really the worst part was I have 2 children, Ginger and Parker, and the thought of not being with them, not seeing them grow up was devastating to me. It was unbearable. It was scary, it was awful. The treatment was awful. It was hard, but good at doing hard things, so no matter what the doctors threw at me, I just took it on the chin and kept moving forward. And so I'm happy to say I'm 6 years cancer free. But yeah, it was the loss of my children's lives was actually the hardest part of the whole thing.
Oh, that must have pretty be a whole lot of being that a whole lot of radiations, a whole lot of chemotherapy, every of those things coming into being during those periods. So there is a version of that stories where someone quietly step back, heal privately, and return it. It is over. You choose the opposites. What made you refuse to disappear?
So failure's not an option for me. I have worked very hard for my health. So I had to keep working hard to maintain health. And I regressed dramatically. I was very thin and gray and bald and very sick, but I kept exercising as much as I could just to slow the decline. And then once I was able to pick up the pace, I worked very hard to get back to fit and healthy and vibrant and athletic, which I have done. And then the other thing is, my career. I have worked so hard to build my business, and I've earned my rightful spot on some of the most incredible stages in athletics and corporate stages in America and the world. If I, some people said, "Oh, you have cancer. You need to stay home. You're sick. You need to stay home and hide
Yeah.
out." And the reality is, if I would have stayed home, I wouldn't have earned the money that I needed to make my
Yeah.
house and my life go. Work isn't just for fun, even though my job is fun. I do it for a living. But yeah, if I would have disappeared for a year and a half during treatment, my entire business, my entire brand would have been decimated. I
Yeah.
would have lost everything. So I boarded about 30 planes out of my hometown to go fly across America to
Mm.
go announce races, to go do keynotes. And, it was hard, but it also, those moments with those people when I was doing the work that I love, those were moments where I did not feel sick. I did not feel tired. I was jacked up on human fueled adrenaline. And it was like they were fueling me to do the things that I needed to do. So it was really hard, but it was also really awesome. And I'm glad I made the decisions I did.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Yeah, you're still showing up regardless of the cancer and the fact that, yeah, if you would have just more like our cowered down those periods, the brand would have been gone and everything would have been gone. Which I could imagine what it would have been like. And I'm glad that you did it. If not, we wouldn't have this conversation.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So coming out at the other side of cancer, what change did you see in your body, your work, and the people around you?
Okay, well, the changes I saw in my body were awful, right? So I was I lost a ton of weight. I remember looking in the mirror and my once plump, round booty
Yeah.
was flat. I mean, I looked like I was 95 years old. I just had a flat, wiggly butt. And I thought, awful. I need to earn that better. Plus, I lost all the muscles. I was a pretty fit, strong woman.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't. And so it was really important for me to rebuild the muscle mass that I lost. And so that's been really fun to do and rewarding. I'm highly motivated. And again, I told you failure is not an option. So I get in and I do the work
Yeah.
whether I want to or not. I show up and that has paid off for me. And a lot of people hit a fork in the road, whether it's cancer or another illness or an injury, and it changes them. They say, "Oh, I was doing the wrong thing. I need to go do this instead." For me, when I hit that wall, I doubled down on who I already was. I thought, yes, this fitness thing is very important. And the work that I do is very important, not only for normal, healthy people, but even for cancer patients. And so I am louder than ever, noisier than ever, more committed
Yeah.
than ever, and, more joyful than ever. I love what I do and I love the people I serve. And, life is good.
Amazing, amazing. Also, your newest book is You Supercharge, the exact formula for fitness, weight loss, and longevity. It's a fitness industry, in a fitness industry drowning in noise and contradiction. What made your formula different, and what is the one thing you most want readers to actually do with it?
Okay, so you're right. The fitness industry is drowning in nonsense noise from people who aren't educated and just want your money. So there's a lot of vultures. Everything I say in my book is science backed. So there are no lies,
Mm.
there are no scams. I specialize in making fitness understandable, attainable, and fun. And so not only do I make an effort to convince people that they can become fitter and their life can become better and they can achieve all those things they want, but that they should. And I simplify the how. And so the book covers everything from how to exercise in all pillars of fitness, cardio, strength, flexibility, balance, all the nutrition, what to avoid, what to lean into, how to manage your favorites, how to include good foods you normally wouldn't eat, why you shouldn't be perfect. Fitness and nutrition isn't about being perfect. And I have specialized chapters on raising fit families, on aging like a badass, on one for just women, one for just men, on why your excuses are lame. I have a whole chapter dedicated to bashing your excuses and knocking you over the head with them. And then there's a Q&A chapter, and it's how to manage holidays and travel. And so I've tried to hit all the different avenues of life that are most challenging to folks. And yeah, it's doing so well already. Supercharged readers have already reached out to tell me they've lost lots of weight and their back pain has disappeared and they have more energy and they're sleeping great. So, it's all
Yeah, amazing. I think I just love the first when we analyzing it. Yeah, that yes, the gym industry is becoming drum in the fitness industry, and the fact that every part of your book is backed up by scientific research, and that really speaks volumes onto, yeah, more of the dedication and the whole of it put in place. And
Yeah.
yeah, I must say thank you for what you
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm selling absolutely nothing other than health. And so, with so many different people or programs, there's an ulterior motive that they want to figure out how to get more of your money by making you buy their shakes or making you
do.
buy
Yeah,
this. You spend, X amount on a book and then you have it all. And if you have any questions, I answer them for free on my podcast. So then
yeah, yeah,
that's here in America. That's over in Africa. I have plenty of listeners on my podcast in Africa, and it's a blessing that social media and the internet has made our world so much smaller. And the fact that you and I can be here together is pretty
yeah.
special.
So true. So you are known for discipline over deprivation as a core message. Why do so many people get that wrong? And how do you help someone shift from seeing discipline as punishment to experiencing it as a freedom?
Yeah, well, when you do something that's depriving, I mean, that's what diets are really. They're extreme measures that are temporary that lead to temporary results. Anything that's going to cause so much pain and suffering is unsustainable. And I've seen it for decades. Watch people jump on one hokey bandwagon to the next. And so it's that deprivation. People don't need to suffer. Exercise should feel good. Eating healthy food should feel good. It should taste good as well. And so the discipline is your actions. A lot of people they say, "Well, I'm motivated or I'm not motivated," as if that makes any difference. It doesn't matter. If you're motivated, it doesn't matter if you're not motivated. If you do what needs to be done, you will get where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty simple formula, right?
Yeah, amazing. If you do what needs to be done, yeah, you get where you get. Amazing. So you are an American now, knows as a stories announcer, which means you have stood at the thousands of finish line watching people accomplish things they did not know they could. What has those moments taught you about human being and what they are capable of when we finally commit?
Yeah, so it's fascinating. Many of my start lines have 10 to 30,000 people line up, and we have so much fun together. People are very excited. They've worked hard. Many have traveled. They paid a lot of money. They're there. They're finally getting to do the thing.
Yeah,
And I get to be the ringleader of fun. I get them informed, engaged. I make them all feel welcomed and wanted. If they're nervous, I try to calm them down. But really, I want to rile them all up. I want to whip them into a frenzy. So when I yell go, it's chaotic
yeah,
fun. Ever, the thing I really want to know is who are these people? How did they get here? And one of the things that I love about a start line is how unifying it is. There was a few years ago in America acting like weirdos that we can be with the whole DEI thing. And I went to a running conference and they said, okay, we're going to have, and the running conference had, I don't know, 1,000 people of all different genders and races and whatever. But they said, we're just going to do a women's get together, only the women. And I thought, why aren't the men invited to this? Doesn't make sense. Now we're going to have something for just gay people. Really? Why? And then there's only, minority skin color over there. And I hated it because in running, the start line is the most unifying place on earth. It's everybody. It doesn't matter what you look like, what you wear, what gender you are, who you sleep with, where you pray, how much money you have. None of that matters. All that matters is we're there together and we're all taking on the same distance, whether it's a 5K or a full marathon. And so I love the community at a start line. And those people, I think, gosh, how did they get here, right? And then when they do hit the finish line, I mean, of course, we have our speedsters, and I make sure our champions feel like champions with my work. But as the finish line goes on, as the day goes on, I think the finish line gets more and more interesting, right? Because those are the people
yeah,
maybe that weren't professional athletes. This is new
yeah,
because they lost someone they loved, or they've just lost 100 pounds, or I wish I can know all of their reasons, and I never do. But at least at minimum, I get to celebrate them all, congratulate them, make each of them feel like a celebrity, a superstar for that moment.
yeah,
And I let them all know that I love them. And again, it doesn't matter where they come from or what they look like or who they sleep with. You are a runner or a walker who has gone this distance today. You get 100%
yeah.
credit for what you did. And so it's an awesome experience.
Yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, that's very amazing. So lastly, what legacy do you hope your work leave, especially for kids who are where you were earlier on? and the adults who has been told by their told by their bodies at all their circumstance that their best days are behind them.
Yeah, I mean, my legacy would never be about me. It would never be about Fitz Koehler. What I do is for everyone else, right? I work really hard to help people live better and longer. That's my mission, is to help as many people as possible tack 10 years of quality life onto their existence. And so it's important to me, these materials I've created. So there's already 5 books. There's the Morning Mile program. There's my podcast, which is almost at 400 episodes. My
Oh,
website, there's resources I've left that if I got abducted by aliens tomorrow and I disappeared, people could still use my resources to learn from and get the kick in the can they need to go do better and be better. And so, legacy to me is just about more people living better and longer.
yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So, Fida, for my audience who would love to connect with you, either to get your book or to connect with you or your podcast or various platforms to reach out, where's the best platform and how can they reach out?
Of course, so all my books are available on Amazon globally, bookstores globally, fitzness.com. That's FITZ, Z as in zebra, NESS.com. That's my home base for everything. So there's free articles, there's videos, there's all sorts of resources. My calendar is there. And of course, my books are for sale and some apparel. But I'm at Fitzness on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and I love to connect. So what I encourage folks to do is if you follow, I promise quality content in return. But what I'd really rather is for folks to reach out and say, I heard you on the Making of Me podcast,
Yeah.
and be besties online at least. So, yeah, I really do love it when people connect.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. This has really been amazing conversation. Thank you for such electrifying, honest, and deeply moving conversation. Your journey just remind us that the body that struggles first can become the greatest teacher, and that's showing up loudly, boldly, and unapologetically in the face of everything life throws at us. It's not just a personality trait; it's a philosophy. From an overweight kid to a cancer crusher who kept announcing raise, why bad, and treatment. Your stories is proof that fitness is not about perfection, it's about power, grit, and the refusal to quit. It's really a pleasure and honor have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.